Imagine the Earth, billions of years ago. Not the Earth we know today, with towering cities, rushing rivers, and voices carried on the wind, but a younger Earth, a planet alive with mystery. Oceans stretched wider than imagination, forests rising and falling long before the first human ever walked. We think of civilization as ours. We imagine humanity as the architects of culture, of knowledge, of progress. But tonight, as you drift gently into rest, I invite you to consider a different possibility. What if Earth's very first civilization was not human at all? Close your eyes and let your mind wander. The stars above you have shone for billions of years, watching over countless ages of life. Some vanished before we ever knew them. Others left faint traces buried beneath stone, ice, and ocean. Human history, as we learn it in books, stretches back perhaps 5,000 years to the dawn of cities in Mesopotamia, the pyramids of Egypt, the temples of the Maya. But Earth herself is 4.5 billion years old. Our ancestors, early humans, have existed for perhaps 300,000 years. Between these numbers is an ocean of time, a vast silence in which anything could have risen, thrived, and been forgotten. Think of this. If a civilization had flourished 1 million years ago, or even 10 million, would we even know? Geologists tell us that over millennia, mountains rise and fall, rivers carve new paths, oceans consume continents. The Earth is not a static record keeper. It erases, it transforms. Fossils survive, rocks endure. But cities, technology, monuments, even our greatest buildings, if abandoned, would crumble within a few thousand years. Steel would rust, glass would shatter, forests would reclaim concrete. In 100,000 years, New York, London, or Tokyo would be little more than buried traces beneath soil and sand. In 1 million years, even those traces might vanish entirely. So, who is to say that before us, on this ancient Earth, others did not rise? Ancient myths across the world whisper of beings who came before us. The Sumerians spoke of the Anunnaki, gods from the heavens who gifted knowledge. The Greeks told of the Titans, powerful beings of an earlier age. Hindu scriptures describe vast cycles of time, entire civilizations rising and falling long before humanity. And in the quiet echoes of Plato's words, we hear of Atlantis, a great society swallowed by the sea. Were these simply stories? Or do myths preserve fragments of truths too ancient to measure? Picture yourself walking across a vast desert. Beneath your feet, grains of sand are ancient, older than civilization, yet buried within them may lie remnants of forgotten lives. The wind blows softly, carrying not just dust, but the echoes of stories never told. Imagine diving beneath the ocean waves. Deep below, in silence untouched by sunlight, there may rest entire landscapes, sunken cities, lost knowledge, civilizations erased by time. Now, imagine that Earth's first civilization was not even human. What form might they have taken? Would they have walked upon 2 legs, or swum beneath the waves? Would they have built monuments of stone, or lived in harmony with nature so perfectly that nothing remained? Science gives us glimpses into Earth's deep past. We know that 65 million years ago, dinosaurs ruled the Earth. Vast, intelligent creatures, some with brains far larger than ours once believed. Could intelligence have evolved differently in ways we can scarcely imagine? In the oceans, the ancestors of whales, dolphins, and cephalopods thrived millions of years ago. Today, dolphins and octopuses display remarkable intelligence, problem-solving, memory, even forms of communication. Given time, could they, or beings like them, have reached beyond instinct towards civilization? And if they did, would we ever know? Would time, pressure, and Earth's shifting crust not bury their works beyond recognition? As you breathe deeply and let yourself drift, remember this. The story of Earth is so much older than humanity. We are but the most recent chapter in a book that stretches back into eternity. What came before us may be lost, or perhaps just waiting for us to notice. Tonight we begin our journey through these mysteries. We will explore the dawn of humanity, the myths of forgotten worlds, the possibility of civilizations erased by time, and the whispers of science and imagination that suggest Earth's first civilization may not have been our own. So settle in, breathe deeply, let curiosity guide you, and as your eyelids grow heavier, let the story of our ancient world carry you into sleep. When we look back into time, history books tell us a story that begins with us, humans rising from scattered tribes to mighty civilizations. But as with all stories, what is left unsaid is just as important as what is told. Our records, our monuments, our memories, they stretch back only so far. Beyond that horizon lies silence, and in that silence, there may have been worlds we can no longer see. Let us begin with what we know. The first great civilizations appeared around 5,000 years ago. In Mesopotamia, between the Tigris and Euphrates, the Sumerians built the first cities, carved writing into clay, and raised ziggurats toward the sky. Along the Nile, Egypt rose, its pyramids aligning with the stars, its pharaohs seeking eternity in stone. In the Indus Valley, cities like Mohenjo-Daro flourished, with streets laid out in perfect grids, drainage systems ahead of their time. Across the ocean in Central America, the Maya and Olmec watched the heavens, carving calendars that measured cosmic cycles with astonishing accuracy. These civilizations are the beginning of our official story. They are the first humans we recognize as builders of complex societies. But why only 5,000 years ago? The Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Modern humans have existed for at least 300,000 years. For most of that time, our ancestors lived as nomads, hunters and gatherers. But here lies the mystery. If we are capable of cities, technology, and culture, why did it take so long? Why not 50,000 years ago? Why not 100,000? Were we truly silent for hundreds of thousands of years? Or is there more to the story? Archaeologists have uncovered tantalizing hints. Ruins older than the pyramids, monuments that defy simple explanation. In Turkey, Göbekli Tepe, a massive temple complex, was built more than 11,000 years ago, long before farming, cities, or writing. Who gathered to build such a place, and how did they organize themselves? In South America, megalithic stones at sites like Sacsayhuaman and Tiwanaku fit together with such precision that even today we struggle to explain how they were carved and moved. In the depths of the ocean, off the coast of Japan, lies the Yonaguni Monument, a massive step-like structure that some believe is the remains of a sunken civilization. Each of these whispers of something more, of chapters missing from our book of history. Close your eyes and imagine walking through Göbekli Tepe at night. The moonlight touches towering stone pillars, carved with animals, symbols, and mysteries we cannot yet read. This was not the work of scattered tribes. This was the work of planners, dreamers, builders. Who were they? Where did they come from? And why, after building such wonders, did they vanish into silence? History is filled with civilizations that rose and fell. The Indus Valley civilization collapsed, its cities abandoned. The Maya left behind great temples in the jungle, their people dispersed. Even mighty Rome, once the center of the world, fell into ruin. If such collapses happened in recent memory, Is it not possible that far older civilizations, long before Sumer or Egypt, also rose and fell, erased by time, disaster, or Earth's shifting face? Most archaeologists are cautious. They remind us that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. And indeed, much of what we have are fragments, stones, myths, possibilities. Yet science also admits this. The Earth erases, continents drift, oceans rise, ice ages advance and retreat. Entire landscapes vanish beneath waves or glaciers. If a civilization had lived 50,000 years ago, or even 100,000, could we expect to find their cities intact? Or would they have been swallowed, leaving only whispers for us to puzzle over? Picture yourself holding an ancient book, its pages worn and many missing. The chapters you can read are detailed and clear, but vast sections are blank, torn away by time. Human history is much the same. We read the last few pages, Sumer, Egypt, Greece, Rome. We glimpse fragments before them, Göbekli Tepe, mysterious ruins, unexplained artifacts. But beyond that, the book grows silent, and in that silence, imagination stirs. If humanity itself may have forgotten chapters of its story, what then of Earth itself? Could there have been civilizations unlike us, beings of flesh and bone, or perhaps of forms we can scarcely imagine? Civilizations that thrived, built, and vanished, leaving behind only faint echoes in myth, stone, and ocean. This is where our journey deepens, into theories, into imagination, into the possibility that Earth's first civilization was not human. As you breathe slowly, let this thought rest in your mind. Our history is not the whole story. It is a fragment, a surviving island in an ocean of forgotten time, and in that ocean, there may be more. Civilizations erased, civilizations beyond our memory, perhaps civilizations that were never human at all. For as long as humans have told stories, we have wondered, who came before us? Around fires in the dark, our ancestors spoke of gods, giants, and forgotten worlds. These myths are more than entertainment. They are windows, fragile glimpses into memories so old, they blur the line between history and imagination. If Earth's first civilization was not human, perhaps the only trace they left behind is not in stone or metal, but in the stories we still tell today. Let us begin in Mesopotamia, cradle of civilization. The Sumerians, more than 5,000 years ago, wrote of the Anunnaki, powerful beings who descended from the heavens. They were described as bringers of knowledge, of order, of kingship itself. Some scholars see these as myths, symbolic tales of gods and rulers, but others wonder, could the Anunnaki represent a memory of something older? A civilization so advanced that to early humans they seem divine. Close your eyes and imagine ancient Sumer. The air warm, the Tigris flowing nearby. Farmers work the land, priests record the stars, and above it all, stories are whispered of beings who walked the earth long before humankind. Across the sea, in Greece, a different story was told. The poets spoke of the Titans, a race of powerful beings who ruled before the gods of Olympus. The Titans were not human. They were vast, eternal, elemental, and in the myths, they were overthrown, buried deep within the earth, their power sealed away. To the Greeks, history was not a straight line. It was a cycle of ages, golden, silver, bronze, each populated by beings different from us. Could the myth of the Titans reflect a memory of a time when Earth belonged to another kind of intelligence, a civilization erased by catastrophe? In India, the ancient Vedas and epics speak of yugas, vast cycles of time stretching millions of years. In these cycles, entire civilizations rise and fall. Beings of immense knowledge and power walk the earth in ages long before ours. Some lived in harmony, others fell into war. Each age ended in destruction, only for life to begin anew. Unlike the linear history we know today, Hindu tradition imagines time as an endless wheel, suggesting that what we see as the beginning may only be a beginning for us, not for Earth itself. The Maya and Aztec told of previous worlds destroyed by flood and fire, each giving way to a new creation. The Dogon people of Africa spoke of beings from the star Sirius, who came to teach knowledge of the heavens. The Norse told of giants before men and of worlds buried beneath the ice. Across continents, separated by oceans, civilizations carried stories of a time before humanity, of beings who built, who ruled, who vanished. Perhaps these myths are only stories, shaped by imagination. But perhaps they're fragments of something older. Memories carried across generations, distorted by time, but never fully lost. Imagine an ancient person watching the stars, passing down tales told by their grandparents, who heard them from theirs, stretching back beyond written history. Over thousands of years the details blur, but the core remains. There were others before us. Picture the pyramids of Egypt at dawn, the rising sun catching their golden tips. Priests chant stories of gods who once walked among men. Picture the jungles of Central America, temples hidden beneath vines, echoing myths of creators and destroyers. Picture the icy fjords of the north, where bards speak of giants frozen in the earth, waiting to awaken. All these stories, in all these lands, remind us of one haunting possibility. Humanity may not have been the first. As you breathe slowly, let the myths wash over you like a dream. The Anunnaki of Sumer, the Titans of Greece, the eternal cycles of India, the lost worlds of the Maya, each whispers of a time before us, each asks the same question. What if the first civilization on Earth was not human at all? Before there were humans, before there were pyramids, temples, or cities, the Earth was already ancient. For billions of years, this planet was alive with creatures and landscapes so strange, they seemed to belong to another world entirely. When we imagine prehistory, we often picture dinosaurs, great beasts thundering across the land. But the story of Earth is far larger, far deeper, and far more mysterious. And within that vast span of time lies the possibility that intelligence may have risen before us. Take a moment to consider the scale. Earth is 4.5 billion years old. Life has existed for over 3.5 billion years. Complex animals for 600 million years. Dinosaurs for 165 million years. By contrast, modern humans, Homo sapiens, have walked the Earth for only about 300,000 years. Civilization, as we know it, for only 5,000 years. Our time on Earth is not even a page in its great book. It is a single word in a story that stretches across eternity. For over 100 million years, dinosaurs ruled the land. Some were enormous, others small, swift, and clever. Among them were species like the Troodon, a raptor-like dinosaur with large eyes, grasping hands, and a brain larger than most of its kind. Paleontologists once wondered, had the asteroid not struck 65 million years ago, could creatures like Troodon have continued evolving toward greater intelligence? Imagine a world where dinosaurs, not humans, built civilizations. A world of reptilian architects, astronomers, philosophers, their cities now lost beneath 65 million years of shifting Earth. It may sound like science fiction, but in a planet so ancient, is it truly impossible? Even before humans, the oceans were alive with intelligence. Whales and dolphins, descendants of land animals, display remarkable problem-solving, memory and communication skills. Octopuses, with nervous systems unlike ours, can solve puzzles, recognize shapes, and even escape enclosures with eerie precision. If these beings show such intelligence today, could their ancestors have been even more advanced millions of years ago? Could civilizations have risen not on land but beneath the waves, leaving behind no stone temples, no metal tools, only memories washed away by the tides of time? Imagine vast underwater cities of coral and shell, lost forever to rising seas and shifting currents. The deeper we look, the more we realize how fragile history is. Civilizations like ours leave behind ruins, books, machines. But over thousands of years, even these decay. In millions of years, continents drift, volcanoes erupt, oceans swallow coastlines. If a non-human civilization existed 10 million years ago, what evidence could possibly remain? Perhaps only faint chemical traces or anomalies buried deep in rock. The silence of the record does not always mean absence. It may mean erasure. In recent years, scientists have proposed what is called the Silurian hypothesis, the idea of looking for signs of an ancient industrial civilization in Earth's geological record. They ask, if humans vanished tomorrow and alien scientists studied Earth 100 million years in the future, would they find traces of us? The answer is uncertain. Our cities, our monuments, our machines, most would vanish. What might remain are chemical fingerprints, plastics, altered carbon, unusual isotopes. If this is true, then if there ever was a civilization before humanity, reptilian, aquatic, or otherwise, their traces may also be hidden in the rocks, waiting for us to learn how to read them. Picture yourself walking through a prehistoric forest. Towering ferns stretch toward the sky. Strange calls echo from unseen creatures. The air is thick, heavy, alive with energy. You reach a clearing, and in the silence you imagine not beasts but beings. Builders, thinkers, not human, not like us, but intelligent in their own way. Perhaps they carved symbols on stone. Perhaps they built shelters that time has erased. Perhaps they gazed at the stars, the same stars we see tonight, and wondered if they were alone. Civilization is not inevitable. It is fragile, dependent on climate, stability, survival. In Earth's long history, mass extinctions have struck again and again. Asteroids, supervolcanoes, ice ages, shifting oceans, each has swept away entire branches of life. If intelligence rose before us, it may have been erased by one of these great catastrophes, like a candle in the wind, flickering once, then gone, leaving behind only silence. As you breathe deeply, remember, humanity is new. We are recent. We are not the owners of Earth's story. We are only its latest chapter. Before us, there were others, great reptiles, mighty mammals, endless oceans filled with life, and within that life, perhaps, there was once a spark of intelligence, a spark that rose, shone brightly, and vanished long before we ever arrived. And so, the question remains, if civilizations did exist before us, erased by time, perhaps the only clues we have left are hidden not in fossils or ruins, but in the stories, the myths, the whispers of memory. In the next chapter, we will explore the mysteries of archaeology, the unexplained monuments, the artifacts that defy simple answers, and the possibility that traces of non-human civilizations still lie waiting to be found. History leaves us questions. Stone ruins in forgotten valleys, monuments carved with symbols we cannot read, artifacts that seem far older than they should be. Each mystery is like a fragment of a lost story, and together they hint at the possibility that what we know as history may only be part of a much deeper tale. High on a hill in Turkey lies Göbekli Tepe, a place older than the pyramids, older even than Stonehenge. Massive stone pillars rise in circles, decorated with carvings of animals and abstract symbols. Archaeologists date it to 11,000 years ago, a time when humans were thought to be simple hunter-gatherers. But this temple defies that idea. It required planning, engineering, organization, the kind of knowledge we believed humans did not yet have. Some wonder, who taught them? Was this the dawn of our first civilization, or a remnant of something older, now almost forgotten? The pyramids of Egypt stand as the most famous monuments on Earth. Official history tells us they were built about 4,500 years ago. But the precision of their construction, their alignment with the stars, and the sheer scale of the effort raise questions. Were they purely the work of humans at that time, or are they a continuation of knowledge passed down from a civilization far earlier? Imagine standing before the Great Pyramid at night, the desert winds whispering around you. Above, the constellations shine, aligned as they did thousands of years ago. You cannot help but feel as though these stones are not just tombs, but messages, whispers from an age we barely understand. Beside the pyramids lies the Sphinx, guardian of the desert. Some geologists suggest that erosion on its body shows signs of water, heavy rainfall that would place its construction not 4,500 years ago, but perhaps 10,000 or even 12,000 years ago in a different climate entirely. If true, this would mean the Sphinx predates known Egyptian civilization. Who carved it? And what civilization existed then, capable of such a monument? Far away, in Peru and Bolivia, lie ruins that also defy explanation. At Sacsayhuaman, stones weighing more than 100 tons are fitted together with such precision that not even a blade of grass can slip between them. At Tiwanaku, near Lake Titicaca, enormous blocks lie scattered, some with perfectly cut angles, as though shaped by machines. The Inca themselves said they did not build these structures, they inherited them from those who came before. Who were these builders? And how did they work with such impossible precision without tools we know of? Beneath the waters off the coast of Japan lies the Yonaguni Monument. Massive stone steps and terraces lie deep below the waves. Some scientists argue it is a natural formation, but others see the clear marks of design, of human or perhaps even non-human hands. If it is artificial, it may be over 10,000 years old, dating back to a time when sea levels were far lower, before the end of the last ice age. If true, then entire civilizations may lie hidden beneath the oceans, lost forever to rising waters. Beyond ruins, there are objects, small, strange, and controversial, known as out-of-place artifacts. In 1889, miners in Illinois discovered a tiny bronze bell inside a lump of coal thought to be 300 million years old. In Russia, strange metallic spirals have been found in layers of earth dating back tens of thousands of years. In South America, ancient gold figurines resemble modern airplanes, complete with wings and stabilizers. Most of these are debated, dismissed, or explained as errors. Yet their mystery lingers. If even one of them is genuine, it could point to civilizations far older than ours, perhaps not even human. Skeptics remind us, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. The Earth is not kind to history. Stone can erode, metal can rust. Entire cities can be swallowed by jungle, desert, or ocean. If civilizations rose tens of thousands of years ago, or even millions, we may not yet have uncovered their traces. Or perhaps we have, but have not yet learned how to recognize them. Close your eyes and picture yourself walking among the ruins of Sacsayhuaman. The stones tower over you, each one fitted with impossible perfection. The air is still. The stones are silent. You place your hand on one, and it feels alive with memory, as though it remembers a time when builders stood here long ago, carving, shaping, creating. Who were they? Why did they build? And why did they vanish? These mysteries do not prove that Earth's first civilization was not human, but they open a door into possibility. Perhaps humans built them all through genius, patience, and time. Or perhaps some were the work of others, builders whose names are lost, beings who lived before us, whose traces remain only as puzzles for us to solve. As we leave the ruins behind, the questions remain. If civilizations older than our own did exist, erased by time, then perhaps science can still find their traces in the rocks, the fossils, the very bones of the Earth. In the next chapter, we will turn to science itself. We will ask, what does the geological record reveal? And what do scientists truly think about the possibility of civilizations long before us? For every mystery, there is science. For every story of lost civilizations, there are archaeologists, geologists, and historians working patiently to uncover the truth. Science is cautious. It relies on evidence, on careful testing, on proof that can be measured. And yet even scientists admit our knowledge of Earth's past is still incomplete. Archaeology tells us that the first cities arose around 5,000 years ago in Mesopotamia, Egypt, the Indus Valley, and China. Before that, humans lived in smaller groups, hunters and gatherers, creating tools of stone and bone. Over tens of thousands of years, they developed farming, settled villages, and slowly built toward civilization. This is the mainstream timeline, one supported by evidence, ruins, artifacts, ancient writings. But there are gaps. Fossils, ruins, artifacts. They survive only rarely. For every discovery, millions of other traces are lost forever to erosion, earthquakes, floods, and time. Scientists admit our timeline is based on what has survived, not on everything that has ever existed. Imagine trying to understand a great novel when most of its pages are missing. That is how we study Earth's history. Some scientists have even asked, what if an industrial civilization had existed millions of years ago? This is called the Silurian hypothesis. It does not claim that such a civilization existed, only that if it had, its traces would be incredibly difficult to find. Cities, machines, and artifacts might vanish within tens of thousands of years. What might remain are subtler clues, unusual layers in the soil, strange chemical signatures, changes in carbon, or plastics buried in rock. If we look closely, could the Earth itself be hiding fingerprints of civilizations erased by time? Science accepts that Earth has hosted countless worlds before ours, the world of the dinosaurs, the world of the great ice ages, the world of ancient oceans and forests long gone. It accepts that intelligence is not uniquely human, that dolphins, elephants, ravens, and octopuses all show remarkable abilities to solve problems, communicate, even recognize themselves. It accepts that the geological record is incomplete, that much of Earth's past has been erased, and that new discoveries can rewrite what we thought we knew. But there are mysteries science cannot yet explain. How did hunter-gatherers, with no writing or farming, build Göbekli Tepe more than 11,000 years ago? How were the megaliths of Peru cut and placed with such precision, using tools we cannot identify? Why do so many ancient cultures, from Sumer to the Maya, share myths of beings who came before us, bringing knowledge and order? Science acknowledges these puzzles, but offers no final answers. What makes science powerful is not certainty, but curiosity. Scientists ask questions, test ideas, and seek evidence. Some mysteries may one day be solved, others may never be. But even in its uncertainty, science gives us something profound, a reminder that our world is still filled with wonder. Picture a scientist in a quiet laboratory, examining fragments of bone, shards of pottery, grains of soil beneath a microscope. Picture an astronomer gazing through a telescope, watching the stars that have shone for billions of years. Both are asking the same question. Where did we come from? And who or what came before us? As you breathe slowly, let this thought rest in your mind. Science does not close doors, it opens them. It reminds us that Earth is old beyond comprehension, that intelligence is fragile, rare, and precious, that civilizations may rise and fall, leaving behind only whispers in stone and soil. And though science does not claim Earth's first civilization was not human, it cannot yet prove that it was. From myths to ruins, from fossils to science, the question deepens. If Earth's first civilization was not human, perhaps the answer is not only in the past, but in the cosmos itself. In the next chapter, we will look upward, toward the stars, and ask, if civilizations rise again and again on Earth, might they also rise across the universe? When we lift our eyes to the night sky, we see more than stars. We see a history written across the cosmos, billions of years older than the Earth, billions of possibilities unfolding beyond our reach. If civilizations could rise and fall on our planet, why not elsewhere? And if life has blossomed across the universe, could Earth itself have been visited, influenced, or even shared by beings before us? The universe is nearly 14 billion years old. Earth is only 4.5 billion years old. That means countless worlds have existed long before our own planet even formed. Entire civilizations could have risen, thrived, and vanished, leaving no trace for us to find. Time, on this scale, is almost impossible to grasp. If the history of the universe were a single year, humanity would appear in the final few seconds before midnight on December 31st. We are so new, and so much may have come before. The stars tell us that life should be common. There are more planets in the universe than grains of sand on Earth. Many lie in the habitable zone, with water, air, and warmth. So why have we not yet found proof of other civilizations? This is the Fermi paradox. Perhaps civilizations are rare. Perhaps they do not last long. Or perhaps they are everywhere, but distant, hidden, or so unlike us that we do not recognize them. And perhaps, just perhaps, some once touched Earth itself. Some scientists propose that life on Earth may not have begun here. Instead, microscopic life could have arrived on comets, asteroids, or dust drifting through space. A theory called panspermia. If true, then we're all, in a sense, children of the stars. Life could be a cosmic traveler, moving from one world to another, seeding new beginnings wherever it finds a home. Could civilizations too move in this way? Could advanced beings millions of years ago have reached Earth and left faint echoes of their presence? Many ancient cultures speak of gods, star beings, or sky visitors who descended to Earth in times long past. The Sumerians wrote of the Anunnaki, powerful beings who came from the heavens. The Maya spoke of gods who travelled through the stars. Even in Egypt, myths describe beings who ruled before the first pharaohs. Are these only myths, or are they memories? Fragments of encounters with civilizations not of Earth, or perhaps older ones that shared it with us? Science cannot confirm this, but the question lingers. Across the stars, civilizations may rise, flourish, and fade, just as they might have on Earth. Perhaps intelligence is not a straight path, but a repeating cycle. Perhaps planets, like seasons, host multiple waves of life and civilization, each rising, each falling, each leaving faint traces behind. If so, Earth could be only the latest in a series of worlds that have lived upon this same ground. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine the Earth not as it is now, but as a tiny dot moving through space. Around it, millions of years pass like seconds. Continents drift, oceans rise and vanish, ice sheets grow and melt, forests bloom and turn to desert. And on this stage, civilizations appear, for a flicker, for a heartbeat, and then are gone. Perhaps human, perhaps something else. The Earth remembers them all, even if we cannot. If the cosmos is filled with life, then the idea of civilizations before us is not strange. It is natural. The strange thing would be if we were the only ones, if nothing had ever risen before us, here or elsewhere. The stars whisper otherwise. They remind us that creation is abundant, that life is persistent, that civilizations may bloom wherever conditions allow. And if that is true, then perhaps Earth has seen more than one flowering of intelligence. To think cosmically is to feel small, but it is also to feel connected. We are part of a greater story, a story that spans galaxies and eons, that stretches beyond memory, beyond imagination. Perhaps humanity is not the first chapter. Perhaps we are only the latest verse in a poem that began long before us, and that will continue long after. From the cosmic to the personal, from the stars to the stones beneath our feet, the question remains, if civilizations have risen before us, here or elsewhere, what becomes of them? Do they leave behind wisdom, ruins, warnings, or do they vanish, silent, leaving us to wander in the dark? In our final chapter, we will reflect on what it means to be human, to live in this moment, to stand at the edge of mystery, and to ask, if Earth's first civilization was not human, what does that mean for us now? The journey has been long. We have walked through myths and ruins, through science and speculation, through the vastness of the cosmos. And now, as night deepens, one question remains. What if Earth's first civilization wasn't human? We may never know the full truth. Perhaps the first sparks of civilization were lit by human hands, carving stone, planting seeds, building fires. Or perhaps they were lit by others, long forgotten, erased by the tides of time. But uncertainty is not something to fear. It is something to rest within, like a soft ocean that carries us gently forward. What the question reveals above all is that civilizations are fragile. They rise with brilliance, and they fall into silence, even ours. One day, far in the future, the skyscrapers, the satellites, the cities, they too will vanish. The earth will reclaim them, as it has reclaimed countless worlds before. And yet, in this fragility lies beauty, because it reminds us to cherish what we have, here, now. Even if Earth's first civilization was not human, we are still part of the same story. A story of survival, of curiosity, of reaching upward toward the unknown. To be human is to ask questions, to wonder, to dream. And in dreaming, we become eternal, linked to every being who has ever looked at the stars and asked, why are we here? Imagine time as a vast river. Civilizations are like boats, floating briefly upon its surface. Some are large and shining, some are small and fragile. One by one they drift, they pass, they vanish into the horizon. But the river flows on, and in its current, all are connected. We are not separate from what came before. We are part of the same eternal stream. The answer to our question may never be found in stone or fossil, in ruins or myths. The answer may live in something greater, in the wonder itself. For wonder is timeless. It is what keeps us searching, imagining, creating. It is what makes us human, and what may make others across the universe feel alive as well. As you close your eyes, let the mystery rest within you, not as a problem to solve, but as a gentle lullaby. You are part of a story larger than history, larger than Earth, larger than time. You are connected to all who came before and all who will come after. You are a witness to the universe, and in your quiet dreaming, you are also a creator of worlds. Breathe slowly. Let your body grow heavy. Let the stars above you drift softly into the distance. For tonight, you rest. And in your dreams, perhaps, you will glimpse the civilizations that came before. What if Earth's first civilization wasn't human? The truth may be lost to time, but the question will always remain. A question to comfort us, to inspire us, to remind us that the universe is still full of mystery. And in that mystery, you are safe, you are at peace, you are home. What if Earth's first civilization wasn't human? The truth may be lost to time, but the question will always remain. A question to comfort us, to inspire us, to remind us that the universe is still full of mystery. And in that mystery, you are safe, you are at peace, you are home.